All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at Nepo babies
Oh, yeah.
and their impact on Hollywood. We've got some excerpts from a really fascinating article called The Rise of Nepo Babies,
Yeah.
Our Star Kids Reshaping Hollywood's Future.
Okay.
And we're going to be trying to answer the question,
Nice.
are these star kids simply benefiting from privilege, or are they bringing something new to the table?
Interesting.
So I guess to start, I mean, Hollywood has always had its famous families, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
but this whole Nepo baby thing feels different.
Yeah, it does feel different.
So what exactly are we talking about when we say Nepo baby?
Well, it's not just about inheriting fame.
Right.
It's about the access, the
Right.
connections, the opportunities that come with being part of a Hollywood family.
Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, your mom's famous, so you're famous. It's like
Okay.
you actually have all of these like material benefits.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine this. Your parent is like a major studio executive, and you practically grow up on film sets.
Okay.
You're at all the right parties. You're rubbing shoulders with like industry giants.
Yeah. So like the networking is just built in.
Yeah, that's a level of immersion that most aspiring actors or directors
Yeah.
could only dream of.
It's like a lifetime VIP pass to Hollywood.
Exactly. And that access translates to real opportunities.
So like, give me an example.
Okay, let's say your godfather is a renowned director.
Okay.
He might offer you like a summer internship on his film set, which would give you a hands-on education in filmmaking that
Yeah.
like no film school could ever replicate.
Yeah.
Or he might introduce you to his network of like casting directors, agents, producers,
Huge.
connections that can take like years, even decades
Yeah.
for outsiders to build.
It sounds like they're getting just a massive head start in a really competitive industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the article actually mentioned some specific examples.
It does.
Some of these names are huge.
Yeah, some huge names.
So what are we talking about here?
Well, you see it in actors like Maya Hawke,
Oh, yeah.
who's obviously very talented, but also benefited from early exposure and industry connections
Right.
because her parents are Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke.
Wow.
Or consider like Dakota Johnson,
Okay.
whose directing career was arguably launched by her family's production company.
Makes sense.
These are just a few examples of how those family ties can really pave the way to success.
So, okay, you've painted a pretty clear picture of the advantages. But here's where I kind of get a little bit skeptical.
Okay.
Is it all privilege? Or is there some space in here for, like, talent and hard work?
Well, it's not a simple answer.
Right.
I mean, let's acknowledge that having a famous last name doesn't magically bestow talent.
Oh.
You can be given a chance, but you still have to deliver the goods.
Right.
There are plenty of Nepo babies who have fizzled out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Despite these initial advantages.
despite their advantage.
So it's not a guaranteed recipe for success.
No, it's not.
Having a famous parent might get your foot in the door, but it doesn't guarantee a standing ovation
Exactly.
or a box office smash.
No, it doesn't.
So what does getting your foot in the door actually mean?
Well, think of it as like bypassing the miles-long line of hopefuls.
Okay.
Instead of sending your headshot to an anonymous casting call,
Uh-huh.
you're having lunch with a casting director who already knows your name
Okay.
and is familiar with your work
Right.
thanks to your family connections.
Huge edge.
That's a huge edge.
Yeah, so it's not about being handed a career on a silver platter,
No.
but it's about having access to opportunities
No.
that others have to fight tooth and nail for.
Exactly. And it's worth noting that Nepo babies aren't like a monolithic group.
Okay.
The experience of a child of like a powerful producer
Uh-huh.
is vastly different from someone whose parent is a beloved but less connected character actor.
Right.
The level of access and influence varies greatly.
So even within the Nepo baby category,
Yeah.
there are layers of privilege. This whole conversation makes me think about the bigger picture. What does the rise of Nepo babies mean for Hollywood? For the kinds of stories we see on screen,
Mm-hmm.
for aspiring artists from diverse backgrounds.
That is the crucial question. If Hollywood increasingly becomes like a closed loop
Wow.
where the same families dominate, we risk ending up with a less vibrant,
Okay.
less representative industry. It stifles fresh voices and new perspectives.
Makes sense.
Imagine a world where like every film is directed by, starring,
Yes.
and produced by individuals from a handful of interconnected families.
Okay.
It's a recipe for creative stagnation.
It would be like watching the same movie over and over again,
Right.
just with slightly different actors and costumes.
Exactly.
So is there any pushback against this trend?
Right.
Are there people trying to level the playing field?
There is a growing awareness of this issue and a push for more inclusivity.
Okay.
We're seeing it in initiatives promoting diverse filmmakers and actors, in casting calls that are specifically seeking out individuals from underrepresented backgrounds. It's a slow process,
Yeah.
but the conversation is happening.
That's encouraging. So to kind of bring this all back to our listeners,
Yeah.
what can we take away from this deep dive into the world of Nepo babies?
I think the key takeaway is awareness.
Oh,
Recognizing that Hollywood, like any industry, isn't a perfect meritocracy.
right.
Understanding how privilege and access play a role. And perhaps most importantly, asking ourselves, what kind of industry do we want to see? One that is dominated by a few powerful families, or one that embraces a wider range of voices and perspectives?
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
And for our listeners who might be aspiring actors, writers, directors,
Yeah.
producers,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them knowing how challenging it can be to break into this industry?
Don't be discouraged. Focus on honing your craft,
Okay.
building your skills, and creating work that speaks for itself.
So, like, let your work speak for you.
It's exactly.
Network with your peers. Collaborate on projects. Find your community. And remember, Hollywood is just one avenue for creative expression.
Yeah.
There are countless ways to tell your stories and share your art with the world.
So true. So if you were a Nepo baby,
Yeah.
how would you navigate the advantages and challenges of your position?
That's a good question.
Would you embrace your family legacy? Would you try to forge your own path?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you find some kind of balance in between? That's something to think about. Until next time.